We are live after many technical difficulties. You want to tell the people about it?
First, I want to we rehearsed. Let's do this.
Oh,
Artytime, Artytime,
excellent,
excellent. Up again, bro. We rehearsed. Oh my god.
We had it right actually on the other video. So basically, what's going on is we're not allowed to go live on your channel anymore.
No,
Tell the people about it.
YouTube has changed their rules, so I have to have 1,000 subscribers on my channel before I'm allowed to go live again. So we had to do this over on Germ's channel.
Which is strange because you were doing it.
Yeah.
And then it was going good for the channel. The channel's getting views. The channel's getting traffic.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Thousands of minutes of views, a lot, like 30, 40 new subscribers every time we did an episode, but we're not at 1,000 subscribers yet, so it sucks that they cock-blocked us from going live and sharing our knowledge and wisdom and jokes with you.
We gotta do it.
So anyway, here's where we're at. We're live on Germ D's channel, and we hope some of you are going to tune in over here. I don't know how many people even know that you had your own channel, but
this is a good way to. There's a lot of weird videos on my channel. Have fun.
Yeah.
But let's move into your sticker, because basically the internet is so crazy. You got to be on so many different platforms, and you got to be able to adapt, because at any moment they could be like, "Hey, you don't have 1,000 people that have pushed the subscribe button, so you're not allowed to go live." Even though you were.
Yeah, no, and Instagram can do the same thing. They can say, oh, you want to have your little stories up at the top here? You got to pay for that now. Otherwise, people have to go to your profile to click on your stories. That's going to happen. So be prepared for it if you do a lot of story marketing. But, yeah, so basically what we wanted to get into is Patreon and the idea behind it. We've spoken about it a little bit before, but... it occurred to me that a lot of people don't know what Patreon is. A lot of, artists do, but people who are not artists or creative people don't really know what it is. What do you know about Patreon?
I looked into it when Adam started to do this thing called, do you call it Patreon?
No, I call it my supporting patrons.
So people who support him, give him money on a monthly basis, basically because they don't want his shit, you know what I mean? They have enough shit at their house. They love watching his stuff. That's the value they get. So they would just like to give something back for the value of seeing his cool paintings and hoping that he gets to make more.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons why people can sign up to become a patron. Maybe they don't want to buy more clutter, but one of the main things is you get some sign-up perks. So depending on the level that you donate at, I send you different stuff. It can be... stickers, it can be a canvas print, it can be a few different things. Go check it out. I'll put my link right down here. But the idea with the actual Patreon website is it's a website, it's basically like a social media for creative people with a paywall. So only people who are supporting you with a monthly donation get to see your best content. You can choose which content people can see publicly, or which content only your supporting patrons can see. On my website, I don't quite do it that way. I mean, I still post on all my own social medias just like I normally do, so I still share my art, and progress shots and whatever else I'm doing across all my different platforms. But the idea on my website, the reason I'm doing it on my website instead of on Patreon is exactly the reason why YouTube just cock-blocked us. Who knows, Patreon could change their rules in 6 months, and because some of my art is inspired by psychedelics, and sometimes we might talk about psychedelics, and I'm in recovery from having been a drug addict, maybe they're going to change their rules that you can't talk about drugs or psychedelics in your videos on Patreon, and now they're going to close my channel down. So I don't want to do that on Patreon. That's why I did it on my own website instead.
And when I say I looked into Patreon, it doesn't mean that I went through with it, because my kind of feeling was, why would I make a whole campaign about go on Patreon, go on Patreon, go on Patreon, and then that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
It totally happened. I'm campaigning for your stupid ass, your website, and then you're going to say, hey, you swear and you say, stupid ass. It's cut. It's over. And all that money, done. Because they're just going to cut it. And it could be your lifeblood. I don't know if there's people on Patreon who earn a full living. I'm sure there is. Playing video games or something nowadays is Now
all kinds of creative
2020,
people.
guys. People play video games, and send me money.
Mhm.
No,
No,
but they're entertaining. I'm assuming
yeah,
they're
it's
giving value to
entertaining,
people.
you know, like
and
personally.
there's no way to buy anything from these people, right? The people who play video games or whatever. That's why an artist should look into it. There's an entertainment factor in the video game world that there's no way to buy, and some artists kind of do art and don't really make it consumable. Digital artists.
Yeah. I mean,
They
there's
can make videos about them making the art, and that's as interesting as someone playing a video game, if not more.
there's all kinds of ways to do it. There's anything creative that you do. You can create a Patreon account and share what you're doing. You know, like writers can share a new page of their book every day or a chapter or whatever. DJs, musicians, you know, anything creative. Whatever you do creatively, you can share that. And have people follow along. If you make vlogs or vlogs or you talk about political stuff and yada yada yada. Anyway, long story short is the reason, one of the main reasons I did it on my website is also because to bring people to your Patreon page, you have to share your Patreon link. I would rather be sharing my own website link so that if people come to my Patreon or my supporting patron page where they can sign up to become a supporting patron, they're still on my website. And maybe after they become a supporting patron, they can bounce around on other pages on my website instead of looking at other people on Patreon. So that's one of the main reasons that I do that.
Your competition is right there. You feel the same way about Etsy. I like Etsy because they don't charge me a server, they don't charge me a hosting fee, and it's a one-time thing transaction. So even if they chop it at the knees, it doesn't matter. Because wherever the one-time transaction is, and I say it is,
Mm-hmm.
because they're mostly all in the DM. So if you're hearing this and you wanted stuff, you just contact me in the DM. That's what the deals are.
Yeah, and we've spoken about this in other episodes that for me personally, I have a lot of people who've been supporting me for years and you know buy things from me over and over again. So it's just easier for them and for me having my website. Just go to my store, buy it. You don't need to DM me. We don't have to like chat for.
Okay, but let me explain the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rapport building technique. It's one of the best things of all time to actually have a relationship with the people. So yes, of course, the Etsy, the website, having a link that they can buy, amazing. But long term, you want to have interaction with the people who support you, and as many as possible. That's literally your job if you're an artist.
Agreed.
One of them
I agree.
is to have meaningful conversations. Don't just brush it off. Like these people care. You should care even more, and it'll blow them away. That's what makes them buy.
In my case,
and
I found
care and want their art like this all around them.
In my case, I found that a lot of the people look when I'll totally be on Germ's side when it's somebody who's buying something from me the first, second, third, maybe fourth, fifth, sixth time even. But some of my clients buy from me 5, 6 times a year. They've bought, 20, 30 times from me since I've been an artist. They bought stickers, they bought paintings, they've become a supporting patron, they do this, they do that. And we already have a relationship. They already know me, they already like me, they already trust me. And at this point, they literally don't want to bother me. They want to leave my time to be making more art and making these connections with the new people who are going to be buying something from me for the first time. They understand that. And they love what I do, and they follow me, and they comment on my posts, and I reply to their comments, and they'll maybe wish me happy birthday. I'll wish them happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and the DMs and things like that. But like we're already friends and stuff. So that's why for me, my website is super important because it gives a place for those people. It's a home base. It's my internet home base. It's where people can go and they can bookmark it. And no matter what algorithms happen on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or wherever, once they bookmark my website, they can always go back to it and they can follow my blog on there.
Okay, hold on. This is what's funny. You got contacted by a guy today who was like, hey, I checked out your website. It looks a bit rough.
I get those messages all the time though.
Because you have a black background website.
Yeah.
So tell me about your black web. Why it's black?
Well, like in the web design world, having a dark background on your website, especially a black one, is usually considered a no-no. But in my case, there's a reason that my website background is black, and it's basically because my mandalas are supposed to represent like shining a light in the darkness, and like how each human being is a light in the darkness of the world, and that by expressing our true selves, we can share that light with other people. So it also has to do with Leonardo da Vinci. When he was painting, he always painted his canvases black before he started applying any color because he believed that it was the artist's job to bring color to the light.
And I just set you up by asking you that because really what I wanted to get into is that's an old school website technique from the late 90s, early 2000s. There was a lot of black websites. And what I'm starting to figure out now in the year 2020 is that websites and emails, the things of 1999, are the most important thing online.
Well, they always have been.
They always have been.
They never went away. It's like having a phone number.
Okay, yeah, but a phone book no longer exists, correct? With the yellow pages in it.
Yeah.
Okay, because someone takes it away and it changes. So just as YouTube won't let you go live anymore, that kind of like vulnerability in the other platforms strengthens the website and the email.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll be honest. A lot of my sales come through my email list because Facebook makes it so hard to share links. You know, if you put a link in your Facebook post, 10% of your audience that would normally see your post will see it. So, way less people see anything with a website link.
Yeah, and let's say that again, just because people might not know that. If you say buy, if you say contact me, if you say free shipping, if
you say message me, if you say available, if you say for sale, if you say anything in those posts, Facebook automatically classifies your post as a sales post.
And Instagram is owned by Facebook. And the reason is because they offer a promotion button where you give them money and they show it to people in Zimbabwe and other African countries, your post.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what happened when I paid a couple years ago. I got it was literally like Mozambique and things like that that were seeing it. Totally useless.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing.
And who'd you get?
We spoke about it before. I paid something like $300 US 1 month, and I targeted my ads to people who liked mandalas and who lived in Canada, USA, and the United Kingdom.
And Africa.
No, I did not target Africa, of course.
Okay.
And I got many likes on my posts, but when I went through them, they were all people from India and Africa and Indonesia, and they were not people who were following my page.
So they're clearly click farms where they just sit there at an old school desktop like this thing.
Yeah, if they were even click farms, if they weren't even program bots or whatever. Anyway, for me, Facebook ads did not work.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Paying for Facebook ads did not work.
But basically,
even a little bit.
Basically, the real warning that we're trying to tell you is if you use those words, they're going to crush your post because they want you to promote with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that you're going to promote like that without paying them, it's like a mafia.
Now, I'll be honest.
Come in, they bust your windows.
I'll be honest. They're the process of
learning. And there was a golden age.
There was a golden age where you didn't need to pay Facebook, but we're past that. There is a way to make Facebook ads work, but it costs a lot of money. And the way to make Facebook ads work is to target your ads, put them out there. Yes, you're going to get a whole bunch of bullshit people liking your posts and things that they really aren't what you're trying to get. Like I say, you'll target Canada, USA, United Kingdom, and you'll get likes from Africa and India and Bangladesh. But you might get a few from Canada and the USA and the United Kingdom. So the trick with running Facebook ads is once you retarget them, once you place a Facebook ad, it's going to give you analytics on it in the back end of your Facebook business page. And those analytics will include who interacted with your post, who liked it, who clicked on the link in it, who commented on it, etc.
Okay, well, let's stop it right there. That sounds so boring and lame.
I know, but let me finish my point here.
But no, this is why emails are more important.
Let me finish my point. So once you get these analytics, then you can pay to only retarget those people who interacted with your posts already. So those people are kind of at least interested in your post, hopefully. The trick is, it's not really a trick. It costs a lot of money to do that, and you're going to be paying $10 or $12 to get a click to your website.
They did that so only Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Nike could be involved.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, you have to have a huge advertising budget.
Hey, look, that takes money. Lame, throw out the window.
Everything takes money. Don't be cheap. Don't be a Jerry.
Okay, but what's
there's better ways to spend your money.
Emails. Hey, sign up to my email list. Hey, sign up to my email list.
That's another thing, that if you put that in your Facebook post will reach nobody.
Oh, yeah, but with a website, It goes hand in hand with a website. If you build your email list, it's like having the rapport, like the constant conversation, because you're constantly sending an email to this person, and as long as you're not bombarding them with lame shit, they get a continual dialogue, and you're part of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the checking the analytics. You're literally building your analytics, and I'm pretty sure if you get, how many emails do you have?
On my email list, I have around 900 people, and an average about 80 or 90 open my emails.
Yeah.
So about 10%. So when I post on a Facebook,
but that could also be something.
That's actually a very good open rate. An open rate for an emails these days in 2019 is somewhere usually between 2 and 3%. So the fact I get 10%, it is amazing. It's like 3 or 4 times higher than most businesses get. When I post on a Facebook post, I have like 3,500 people following me, 3,700 maybe even. And if you go look at my Facebook page, you'll see like almost none of my posts have more than like 35 likes, which is 1% of that number. So I'm getting literally 10 times more people opening my emails than seeing my Facebook posts, like percentage wise versus the amount of people on my email list versus followers on Facebook.
And people need to know about the golden age.
No, they don't. Let's not even talk about that. That's over. Like, it was amazing. It was awesome. It really was. It helped me build a foundation for my business, but talking about it isn't going to help anybody today.
I'm saying in contrast to the numbers that you just said.
In contrast to the numbers I just said, I used to get something like 20% of my followers on Facebook to see my post. So I would literally get 20 times more people seeing my post than I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes more. That's a huge, huge difference. Like, imagine if you owned a store and literally 20 times more people walked in every day. And then all of a sudden, just because of a little change, 20 times less people started walking in. That's what happened.
You got to adapt because it's huge. You can't just be like, I'm just going to sit on this sinking ship. I'm sure it'll be fine.
And right now, the sinking ship is Instagram. I know a lot of people love Instagram. They're all in on it. They're doing stories. They're building da-da-da. They're hitting DMs and yada yada. But long term, that's not a viable way to scale a business. You can't be sitting there in DMs long term. That's why you have to build, like, long term. You can't be, every single client can't be messaging you. You know, if you have a line of products and stickers and bookmarks and jackets and things like that, you can't be in the DM with every single person. Or if you do business that way, you'll be limited to a certain number of sales. You can't talk to 500 people a day.
Well, the reason why I like to talk to people is because
I love to talk to people.
That's what it takes.
I love it. I get it. I get the rapport, the relationship. I get it. But once your business gets big, and that's what happened to me on Facebook.
Can I put my point just out here?
Yeah.
The point is because it takes a conversation to sell a piece of painting. To sell a painting for $1,000 or more, you got to talk to a person.
It doesn't always. When you have social proof, when you have thousands of people liking your posts and following you and visiting your website, and the algorithms aren't janking you from that.
I'll always have time to talk to the person who wants to exchange thousands of dollars for a piece of cotton. Any day. I'll stop the world to talk to that person because that person's honoring you like there's no
I'll always have time to talk to the person who wants to spend thousands of dollars on my original art. I won't always have time to talk to the person who wants to buy my stickers for $6 when I'm having a sale and there's 100 of them messaging me. That's why I'm saying long term, when your business is, and that's what happened to me when business was booming on Facebook and 20% of my followers were seeing my things and I was posting in 100 groups a day. I was getting 5,000 visits to my website a week. Now I get like 150 visits to my website a week. It's a huge difference. So when I had that and when I had all those people seeing me and I had literally 99 messages a day, I'd log into my Facebook and there would be 99 messages. I literally could not reply to them all. I'm sorry.
You didn't even want to talk about the golden age. You're deep in the golden age right now.
Yeah, well, I'm deep in the golden age because you brought the conversation.
I'm going to name this one the golden age.
Like, that's what I'm trying to get
So no matter how good it is, these platforms, when they're owned by a third party or could be sold by a third party, are shaky at best.
Yes. And that's why I built my website. That's why I focus more on it now. That's why I learn a lot about search engine optimization, which means like how to get your website to come up on Google. We spoke a bit about that last time. So look, if you're watching this, like write to Germ, DM him because he loves these DM messages and building relationships with everybody. So everybody write him and tell him, Germ, build your own freaking website. It's time.
I don't know. My website would most likely be a joke. I used to make websites for a living in my 20s. So I know how to make a website. I just think websites and people clicking on links is kind of dead unless they know it's a store. It's a store where they can exchange money. Fine, I'll venture into the opening of a new tab. But they already have 65 tabs open. They're in an app. They don't want to exit the app.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, and I'm playing along. I grew up with the internet. You know what I mean? I grew up in the 90s when it first got introduced with the beep, 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 mom, don't answer the phone type thing, that I'm lenient with people. I understand how people are relating to this technology, and I'm not trying to go against the waves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, it's more about long-term stability of my business,
and that's why we're bringing it up, because it is a great strategy. It is the best strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're gonna my strategy has to do with showmanship, entertainment, and comedy.
I know it does.
So that has
Believe
to do with
me, I know it does.
Multimedia.
It has to do with people being able to see what content you're putting out. That's what it has to do. With. If people don't see your content, there's no relationship happening. And there's no DMs happening.
Yeah,
you gotta keep
that in mind. Sometimes all your art is missing is getting it in front of eyes, right? Like your art, if we get it in front of people, it sells.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. It's just to get in front of people,
mm-hmm.
and you have to be smart about how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if people are interested, collecting an email or two can help you, because that's how you stay connected. There's so many. You're gonna get lost in the sea of the internet. Like so many people that I care about that I can't contact anymore because Instagram has a terrible search function.
Yeah.
Just that. They wrote that their name was like Boogie Juice, and now Boogie Juice, because I don't know it's 69 or 63 or 72, I can't find you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why using your name is a really good one.
Yeah.
And you have a good strategy with art at the end, so that when people see in the comments, they say, art? Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
People go and check it out. Let me judge it. Oh, damn, it's pretty good.
If you're just setting up new social media accounts for your art business, put the word art at the end of whatever it is, or at the beginning. Somewhere in there, put the word art. Because when people see the word art, they know you're an artist, and they go look at it. Mm-hmm. If you just have, John Smith, you're just a John Smith. They don't, John Smith followed me. John Smith made a comment. They don't care. They're not going to necessarily go look at John Smith. John Smith Art made a comment. Now they're like, oh, this guy makes art. Like, I have more of a reason to go look at his profile if they know you're an artist. So that's what I've been doing pretty much everywhere now that I'm on, is I'm at Adam Millward Art. So, that's been working for me, because when I make comments, people come check me out.
I got lucky. I've always been called Germ since I was a kid, and it's my name, more so than my real name.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that funkiness is all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Germ T Art, I don't know. But if you're not the Golden Boy with the Golden Boy name, put art at the end of your name.
Yeah, I mean,
and use your real name too. That's the point too.
I think it's really cool that we're talking about this stuff, because our last episode was about long-term goals. So now we're talking about stuff that is going to be good for your business long term. Look, in the short term, the whole idea is just to start doing and start learning and start making mistakes and start fucking up. That's how you learn.
That's really
some of the advice that I'm throwing out at you, that Germ's like, oh well, I'm not going to do that, and is advice that I learned from my mistakes, and that's why I'm doing things the way I'm doing now. Like, I was golden on Facebook. I was kicking ass, and that collapsed on me, and I didn't know what to do. And I had to get into all these other platforms, Minds and Steemit and MeWe, and I had to learn about LinkedIn, and I had to learn about Pinterest, and I still am learning about Pinterest, and I had to learn about how to SEO my website to make my website come up more on Google. But all that stuff is slowly working. Like, I never had to go get a job. Whereas so many of my friends who are artists we were in the same groups on Facebook, we followed each other, yada, yada, yada. They gave up. When Facebook crushed them, they gave up. They didn't have the entrepreneurial spirit to rebuild on other platforms and start over again. And my art's too important to me to give up on it. My art's too important to the world to give up on it. So I didn't give up on it, and I went through some hard times. I went through a lot of stress. I went through a lot of.
You almost died.
I went through months where I literally made $200, and like it was super stressful. But I didn't give up, and I found a way out of it. And I'm still working full time as an artist, and now we're hosting these podcasts, and I'm working on my biggest painting ever right behind us here, like this 8-foot canvas.
That's what you want to hear, right? That's what you always want to hear. Because any artist that you love, any OG artist that could be 40, 50, they've had hard years.
Oh, for sure.
And you know what made them? The fact that they went and persevered.
Yeah.
And didn't break.
Yeah.
And then you could say, man, they've been doing it for X amount of years. Yeah, because they went through the hard years.
Because the same kind of thing that can happen with, say, a Facebook changing their algorithms. It's like, okay, a good gallery in a nice location, the place their gallery is can raise the rent, and now the gallery can't afford to stay there.
The guy's a cardiac arrest and dies, and
yeah, now your art gallery is done because the guy died. Like things like that happen.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have to readjust, and then you'll find 2 more of those guys that their heart is fine. For another 20 years, it's still pumping. And now you're making twice the amount of money, but that's because you persevered.
Now, that's another reason a website is important, because if you're going to look into, bringing your career to the next level where you do have a gallery representing you, where you do have a dealer representing you, where you do have, a team working with you and for you and, things like that. Having a website is basically where all these people are going to go look for your resume, quote unquote. They're going to go to they're going to Google you. They're going to go to your website and see what kind of events you've done.
It's like CV nowadays.
What kind of reputation you have. And have you been in magazines before? Have you been on TV before? Anything like that. They're going to want to know more about you. And the more they know about you and how you present yourself to the world, and that you're good at presenting yourself to the world, the better chance you're going to have of having somebody that wants to represent you to their network.
Because ultimately that's what it is. We're kind of talking about how to help the sales of your art, but when you get really good at selling your art, other salesmen are going to notice, or women, and they're going to want to sell it too, because they'll see the tactics that you're using and they'll see that it's effective, and that's what ultimately the gallery scene is, in my mind.
And sometimes it won't even be seeing the tactics you're using. Like they see
the network.
Yes, but it's also
that's kind of what I feel.
It is, but it's the proof of concept. When they see sale, they feel comfortable going to their network of their buyers and collectors that you don't know. That's why you use a gallery. That's why you use an art dealer or something like that, because they have a network of people who love art, that already trust them, that buy art from them. So when they come with new art from a new artist and show it to these people already feel like it's something worth looking into. So you don't have that network of the people in Paris or London or New York or even in Montreal. Like there's 4 million people that live in Montreal. I do not know all of them. Some of these gallery people definitely know people in circles that I am not part of. So I'm not currently trying to get into galleries. I'm trying to build my sales reputation and my website with my CV and get interviews in magazines and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm, writing articles about art business. I'm hosting this podcast. You can hire me one-on-one consultations for art business consulting, which actually I strongly recommend. If you hire me for an art business consulting, it's going to be a one-on-one where I'm specifically talking to you about your art and your career, and I will look at your website or your social medias, and I will give you suggestions directly for you. So you can go on my website. I'll put a link down there right to the consulting page, or you can...
Hey, stop plugging. You already plugged your Patreon.
Yeah, I did. Well, whatever. Like, at this point, yes, I charge money for those one-on-one consultations.
No, honestly, just hanging out, and that's why we do this podcast. It's just hanging out. We discuss so many gems that's like we might as well press record, go live, and have them recorded. But again, if one-on-one, I'm sure it would be better because
when we weren't pressing record, we were giving each other one-on-one consultations. Is really what it was. And that's why we decided to start recording these, because we realized the stuff that was coming out of our mouths is valuable information for a lot of other artists. And I hope you feel that way watching this. If you're another artist, I hope you find that some of the stuff we talk about is valuable information for you. That's what I want to do here with this podcast. I want to bring value to the people who are like my tribe. to the people who are my family, to the people who are trying to accomplish the same things that I've accomplished. And in my case, I had good advice from people who had done what I wanted to do. And that's a big part of how I was able to do what I've done. Was get advice from Chris, was get advice from even Alex Gray gave me some advice at one point.
What did he say?
Alex Gray said, get on Instagram.
That's so funny. It's like someone just told him that same line.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't have a huge long conversation with him. I don't know if he runs his account personally himself or if he has some of his volunteer assistants.
No, but he found out. Someone told him Facebook's going down, and someone else told him Instagram's a thing.
Again,
He's not on a computer.
It was also like 3 or 4 years ago that he told me this, so
he was probably right at the time.
Things have changed a little since then. I mean, I joined Instagram, like 3 years ago maybe, and like a week after I joined, my views got cut in half. So that was part of the reason that I didn't really put a lot of effort into it, because I'm like, oh man, they're already chopping my audience in half just like Facebook did. I don't want to go on this ride again. I don't want to go on this ride where they chop my audience in half and then chop it in half and then chop it in half, and then in 6 months or 8 months or a year, only 1% of my audience is seeing my post. That's not what social media is about. Social media means when you press follow, you should see what you follow, and means when I'm creating content and you follow me, you should see what I'm posting.
I don't need to know how expensive the chicken nuggets are at Burger King.
Yeah.
Instagram?
No, I'm so fed up.
I didn't sign up to Burger King.
Yeah, I'm so fed up of seeing all this stuff from pages that I didn't follow.
You know how many ads I see from Coke? Most of my thing is Coke ads. Mm-hmm. Because like I talk about Coke. I post things that have Coke in it. Although it's not Coke, it's a bastardization of their logo. I haven't drank a Coke in 10 years, phone. Listen to this audio right now. You're not going to get me with a Coke ad. And it's, well, I guess it's not so bad. I actually find it funny. They have a new Coke with blueberries now. It ain't brown no more. Actually, it possibly could be brown, and it just tastes like blueberries. They're so stupid. They would probably think of that too.
So, like, I mean, I guess like my point of this whole conversation has been, if you want to build an art career, you really got to think long term. And what we've been talking about are some of the reasons that long term thinking is necessary. Because if you're not planning ahead for the next thing, for the next, where you're building your next audience, where you're building your next home base, where you're building your email list, your website, whatever it is, where you're building a LinkedIn profile, where you're building a profile on MeWe, Minds, and Steemit. If you're not doing those things, eventually you will get crushed by the internet. It will change. Mm-hmm. Like your whatever social media is bumping that you're making your sales on right now, it'll change and you'll get crushed. It will, guarantee you.
I think the real secret, and mark my words on this one, is real life. Because of the internet, less people are in real life. So there's less people to compete with, if competition is a thing, in real life. So real life is very important. Never forget, when he's talking about all these websites and emails and things, websites, nothing beats real life. Mm-hmm. And today I invested in real life and long-term thinking, and I got 1,000 stickers, but Adam doesn't think it's a smart idea.
I didn't say it wasn't a smart idea for you. I said it wasn't a smart idea for me. I already have stickers in my inventory that I haven't even released yet.
Is 1,000 stickers too many stickers?
No. I mean, for me, yes, it would be. To buy 1,000 stickers with one design and only buy 1,000 of them instead of buy 3,000 with 3 designs so I could have 3,000 sets. Yes, that would be a dumb move for me.
There's minimum orders for these things, okay?
I know that.
So this is a plug to my new sponsor, Sticker app. Fuck, I forgot what they're called. We'll figure it out, and we will send you a video of this podcast, and you will make free Artytime stickers. This is a sponsor video for stickercanada.com or .ca.
Something like that.
If you sponsor me, I'll say it properly. Make Artytime stickers. We're sending you this video to let you know that we want you to be our sponsor. I just ordered from you today 1,000 stickers. It's the Mario with the booty. You can't forget. I'll email you today. Mm-hmm. That's how you get a sponsor, Adam.
Is it? All right. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't.
You want that $5 on? You want to roll some money on that?
I haven't reached. Huh?
You want to roll some money that I for sure get them as a sponsor?
No.
Oh, damn. He's not a betting man.
No, I don't like betting.
So what you could always do is you could reach out to people that you like. Like you reached out to Americana once, and you said, "Can you give me free paint?"
I did, but like they didn't because Americana is an American company. They don't have a sponsorship for Canadian artists.
Or else, what do you think would have happened? You probably would have got paint.
It's possible. It's possible.
They would say, "Oh, sorry, bud. You're Canadian. Fuck off."
Yeah.
But Americans could probably contact. So look, if you're using,
it depends.
If
Look,
you really like this brand, contact them.
If you really like it and have been using it consistently for a long time, and talk about it to everyone who asks you what kind of paint you use, and you post it on your social media, and you hashtag them, then reach out. If you just started painting and you don't sell a lot of art, and you're like, "Hey, give me free paint," they're gonna laugh at you and ignore you, and maybe even block you from their page.
I don't know. You might as well try.
Most
people aren't even watching. Period.
Watch our other podcasts about how to build a relationship and build rapport, and with the commenting, then ask them for paint.
Okay, if you're trying to do this full time as a living, and you have been doing it full time as a living, it's safe to say that you could probably ask for some fucking free shit.
Yes, if you're.
They're not gonna send you a crate. You're not like Jeff Koons here. They're not gonna be like, "Oh my god, send this man a fucking full container from China." But hey, send that guy some like glow in the dark.
Mm-hmm. But like, it's a two-way street. If you're gonna get stuff from them, like rep them, shout them out, hashtag them when you're posting your art or whatever. Like I even made a meme with all my paint where I have Gollum Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings, and it says "My precious paintses," and it has a picture of all my paint collection underneath.
He really does have a big collection of paints.
Yeah.
One day we'll go live, and in the other room you'll play some guitar, show you the paint collection. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a generic color. It's like it's a middle hue of all the rainbow, and I try to get it opaque and runny and liquid. And
I literally have colors of paint that I haven't even opened the bottle yet, but maybe I will one day. And when I want that color, it's there.
I'm just saying that my collection is very much just a smorgasbord, all kinds of things, all kinds of brands. To me, painting's fun. Why do you choose one brand?
The reason I chose that brand is honestly because when I started painting, I lived in Costa Rica and I was unemployed. And it was the cheapest paint that they had. And over time, I just fell in love with it. I unscrew the cap and I work out of the cap of the bottle with my paintbrush instead of on a palette. So I save a lot of paint. It doesn't dry up on my palette. And it's clean, it's neat, like it just stays in the cap. I don't make messes everywhere. And like it's a very good paint. It's light fast. It lasts. It.
Whoa, they're not going to sponsor you, Canadian. Don't go that far. One of the main things for you though is you don't have to mix the paint.
Yeah, you don't have to mix colors. Because let me tell you guys a secret. If you went to art school, or if you heard from people who went to art school that you need to use Liquitex or Golden, art schools are sponsored by paint companies. Liquitex, Golden, Winsor Newton. They're sponsored by these paint companies, and they get paint either for free or like really, really cheap for the whole school. But part of that deal is all their teachers have to tell their students to use this brand of paint, and it's the best brand of paint, and if you're using any other brand of paint, your art's not going to be really good, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And like sometimes even the teachers get brainwashed with that, and like they forget that they're doing a sponsorship deal and that it's not really the best paint. They just haven't tried the cheaper paints because they have this thing that this paint's the best. So, I mean, personally...
Paint's not rocket science. It's not rocket science.
Acrylic paint is all little plastic beads in a liquid solution that dries and leaves the plastic on the canvas.
Really?
All acrylic...
Beads. They're little plastic...
They're micro beads, yes. That's all acrylic paint is. That's all...
So
any brand of acrylic
paint... The smaller the filament, the smoother it is, right?
Yes, but like, and it also has to do with the concentration of those beads in the medium that it's floating in. Usually it's mostly...
But yeah, acrylic is plastic.
Just water.
We say acrylic because you don't want to say plastic on canvas.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't going to sell for a lot. So they start to come up with the word acrylic, but acrylic basically is plastic. So then no one knew that. Now you know.
That's what acrylic paint is. So like paying a lot of money for better plastic balls is kind of ridiculous. And I mean, Americana literally has like 220 colors. Plus they have metallics. Plus they have glow in the dark. Plus they make a good varnish for triple thick. I don't use that varnish.
They actually have glow in the dark. They're one of the best glow in the darks I've ever tried.
Yeah.
And we are glow in the dark masters, okay? And you're gonna come to learn this.
Mm-hmm.
That the best glow in the dark art comes out of this studio and my ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the glow in the dark art that comes out of his ass.
It's just poop art, bro.
I don't really
Poop
want
art.
to.
It's poop art. Ninja
If
Turtle.
your poop is glowing in the dark, you might want to go to the doctor.
I'm
bro.
painting a lot with glow in the dark. But the Ninja Turtle I painted here glows in the dark and really well. You go in a dark room and the Ninja Turtle pops out all green, ooze-like.
Yeah,
Look forward
I
to
have
that
something
soon.
really cool at glow in the dark. You're gonna have to stay tuned to future episodes to see
Oh
that.
yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, so there you go. That's a little tip about paint. Don't waste a lot of money on paint. Look, if you're an artist and you're trying to make a career out of it, you're literally running a business, and wasting money on
It's bad for
business supplies is bad for business. Like if I could buy staples that I need for $1, or I could buy staples that the guy at Office Depot told me were better staples, but they're $20. I'm gonna buy the $1 staples. They're just fucking staples.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally, and I agree that the more expensive paint, they often do have a higher concentration of those little plastic balls so they'll maybe be a little bit more opaque. You can use a thinner layer of paint on your canvas to cover it, but I almost never do 2 coats on my art with the Americana, and
Most paints say no. People hate that, so
Yeah.
they really strive for it, and it's tough to do it with a red. I've seen oranges though that blew me away. I thought orange was impossible for someone to get opaque, and I've seen some now that are top. Red is tough though.
Yeah,
Red.
there's a few reds and purples that aren't super opaque, but I mean that's the
Purple,
same.
wow, yeah.
That's the same with almost any brand. So
No, but every other color there is opaque, unless you're trying like neon green. Then it's like, you better use a sponge to not.
Oh yeah,
see the
that's another
strokes.
thing. They have neons. They have neon colors on top of glow in the dark, like neon colors that glow under black light.
But if you're running your own business, it's so important to be savvy and to be a haggler. Like.
Get deals. Wait until Michaels has their 70% off sale on their canvas in the United States. Man, I wish they had that.
Let me tell you,
the
this
best
guy,
we get
this
is
guy,
2 for 1.
This guy, you make money off me.
I literally do.
He makes money off me.
Behind
he lives,
this canvas, there's like what?
A
1, 2,
paint
3,
store.
4, 5, 6. There's 2 48 by 48s. There's 4 60 by 48s.
There's canvases, basically.
And there's another 8-foot
down
canvas.
the street.
Here's another 36-inch over here. Here's like a big one over here. Like I keep myself stocked up in canvas because like when I want to use one, and I don't want to pay full price. So when they go on sale, I get them on sale and I invest some money, and that way, A, I have canvas here ready to go that I paid half price for. B, he literally buys canvas from me and I make money off him because I don't sell them to him at half price. I sell them to him for like 25% off, so I still give him a good deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't usually sell you full price, or we make a trade for something that like you didn't pay full price for.
And the reason is because like I'll be here at midnight. Ain't no store open that'll sell you cotton stretched on wood at midnight. And sometimes, look, I gotta paint.
Yeah, he comes
It's
up
an
with an
addiction.
idea and he's like, man, he'll come in here and he'll be like, I need a canvas like for this design. Like, what size canvas do you have?
So
like,
he's my late night art dealer
Yeah.
and other kinds of dealer. But you don't have to know about that on this podcast.
So basically, like, that's another tip. Like, get your canvas, get any art supplies you can at a discount.
On the low.
Actually,
yeah.
cool. I'm gonna go get my little paintbrushes that I get and show those because those are an
Okay, yeah,
amazing deal.
Yeah.
What's your best art deal? Talk about that one.
No, thanks for that. The best art deal that I know of is thrift store frames. You can go into a thrift store, and I'm talking about the church ones, okay? Not the ones that are like a business. The actual non-for-profit ones. They'll sell you like gold frames for $1. They don't care. And that's such a good spot to take a cheap art like inks and watercolors that don't appear like they're worth a lot, but once you put them behind a gold frame, now you're competing with the canvas vibe. The reason why it's so important to paint and invest in canvas is because people already have the notion that you exchange money for art on canvas. When you paint on a piece of scrap wood, nobody has the pre-notion of, yes, people buy scrap wood once there's paint on it. Nobody believes in this. You're literally trying to force a new narrative on people, but cotton. And we've even experienced here, we're Canadian, there's wood canvases. Some people don't get wood canvases. It's like, why isn't it cotton? Oh,
Or
sorry.
they call it a wood panel.
Yeah, they think it's cheap. In fact, it's worth more, and I think it's better, more durable, and Canadian, so it's stoked. But there's a preconceived notion that these are valuable. If you want your art to be perceived as valuable, do the halfway meet and meet people there on a canvas.
Yeah, I mean, we had spoken about the hierarchy of different art materials. I forget in which episode, maybe episode 1, I think it was.
Really? We did? We brought up linen and oil?
We brought up the difference between like drawings and watercolors and acrylics and oils and egg tempera and whatever. So yeah, but here I went and got my brushes. These little, I do a lot of line work in my art. I don't know if you can see, like this is all line work. There's line work everywhere. And for all my line work, I use these little tiny brushes. I get them on eBay. They come in a pack of 12, and they're called acrylic nail art brushes. I think they're meant for like nail salons.
I feel like they're for makeup.
Nail salons. But they're literally, I think like $1.82. They're less than $2 for a pack of 12. And that includes free shipping from China.
He's not even cleaning his brushes. That's how cheap his brushes are.
My brushes, I think I calculated they cost like 17 or 18 cents.
If I'm wearing a pollution shirt, I'm flashing that right now. Because you, sir, have polluted.
I suppose I have, but at the end of the day, like,
he's getting such a good deal that he can.
I've spent $3-4 on small brushes, and these last just as long as the $3 or $4 brushes.
I love them. They're good quality.
So they do take a while to ship, but go on eBay, type in acrylic nail art brushes, and I usually order like 10 packs at a time, so I get 120 brushes for like less than $20. And it takes like maybe sometimes 2-3 months to get here, but I always have brushes anytime I need them. And I go through a lot of these small brushes.
My thing about brushes is I have a lot of brushes. Even people, when they think a brush is done and they're about to throw it out, I'll take it, put it in paint thinner if I think it's a savable brush, and add it to the collection of brushes. Because you never know when you're going to lose a good chisel tip brush, and you better have 4 more backed up. That's how I feel, because it's so important to the business to have good brushes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the smaller Dollarama...
Yeah, let me go get my fill-in brushes. Those are my line work brushes. I'll go get my fill-in brushes.
Okay, I feel I have better brushes than him. I have a good brush collection. Dollarama and stuff like that, they make good small brushes. They have good smaller ones. But once you get bigger, once you get past like an inch and you're into 2 inches, you're better off investing and keeping that bitch super clean. So don't use oils, because oils suck and they're hard to get out. If you're using a little bit of glue or something like that, you want to wash it right away. Even if you're using acrylic, you gotta get into the habit of always washing your brushes, because they're so important to the lifeblood of the business.
Yeah. Now, when I do bigger line work, like on a big canvas like this, or when I do fills, I literally use dollar store brushes. They
see how that's like not bigger than an inch?
$1.25. And I get 5 brushes. They're 25 cents each, these brushes.
No, I would believe in these ones. These ones are good. They not thick on the bristles, and they can pull a straight line. They all pull great straight lines. But once you start getting past an inch, their fibers are so shitty and jank that they're not to be trusted past an inch. Once there's too many of them, they'll blow out on the side. You're pulling a line, and then one just like creeps and starts dropping paint in random spots.
I'll be honest.
You can trim them, but it's better to actually look. I didn't buy them, but look, you should actually invest. If I would go back, I would probably say the smartest thing you could do is invest in those $5 brushes, $6 good quality brushes, and just keep it clean. It should be like your sacred item. It's a fucking talisman to your art.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't use a whole lot of big brushes. I very rarely do. I use some on this one, but the brushes I used on this one were like Home Depot brushes that I got like a set of 5 of them for like $6.99 or something like that. They're just big house painting brushes.
Yeah, I'm surprised by them.
I mean, they're not the best. They're not the super smoothest brushes. They do leave a little bit of like brush marks in my painting, but I don't care. For me, when I'm painting a big painting like this, I want people to see brush lines in it. I want them to walk up to it and know that a person painted that with their hand. And I think that I don't see the point in making
it's $19.99
paint
again.
Super smooth. Like, I know a lot of artists really care about that, but I don't.
People can be confused. People sometimes think that things are
printed or digital.
Yeah. So by showing a little bit of arpeggio, is that what it's called? Let's hope.
Arpeggio is playing fast on a guitar.
Oh.
It's called, I forget. Impasto, I think, is the word for texture in paint.
Intaglio.
No,
Intaglio.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's intaglio. My brain unlocked it.
No, I think intaglio.
If you could comment below.
Intaglio is a method of printing.
Oh, yeah, you might be right again. Okay, but there's actually a word for human strokes or your brush strokes in the paint. So don't be self-conscious if like it's not smooth like a computer, and that's maybe why you're always doing digital work. If you're doing digital work, you better get on a Patreon type scenario, because I don't know how people are gonna buy your things unless you start printing it. And then if you print it, you're in the lower scale of art that's worth something. Mm-hmm. So get over your fear, paint it. And if it shows human marks, that's awesome, because 1999, just keep reminding yourself, people need to remember that humans do this. Mm-hmm. And that's a way for a person to realize that they could potentially do this too, and that's the role of an artist, is to inspire people.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen, but I've read articles about like AI art, and basically they can take any artist's art and feed it 20 images of that artist's art,
out of town.
And then the Google AI will make art in that artist's style.
Dude, art.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this?
I don't know, because
this could be a whole new art thing where Robot Germ makes fucking bootleg comics.
Well, it could, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
How much do you have to pay? We're figuring this out.
You have to own Google, is what you have to do. At this
I thought
point.
you could pay them.
No.
Oh, it's just
no,
that they're
doing it. They're just developing it, man. I don't know. It's not like it's on the market for anyone to use.
That would have been so fun. That would have been hilarious. You fucking AIs, you think you're coming for me? It would be a good competition, you know? Like,
but at the end of the day, no matter what, I mean, you know, maybe in 10 years they'll have printers that can reproduce the texture of brushes. So who knows? You know, maybe in 10 years AI art will be.
I'm sorry,
whoever wrote the program of the AI will be considered the artist.
Large format art, institutional art like this. That's 8 feet.
This one behind us is 8 feet by 4 feet.
There ain't not gonna be a cheap machine that's gonna make an 8 foot.
No, it's not gonna be cheap.
Never gonna be cheap. Big art will never be cheap.
No.
But yeah, the toys that I make that are 20 centimeters, still pretty big, but not gigantic. Mm-hmm. Cheap. Okay. So yeah, print 24 by 24 canvases could be printed cheap, and that's why you gotta paint by hand and show your arpeggios.
Arpeggios, yeah. show how fast you play guitar on your canvas, I guess. But
the good people know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's important. It's important to get out there. It's important to paint. Basically, it's important to actually. I think that's something that we should really touch on. How important it is to actually push liquid paint until it solidifies and do the alchemy of painting.
Well, I think I'll be honest. I think most artists already think a lot about the painting part and spend a lot of time on the painting part and spend a lot of time learning on the painting part and learning how to get better at the painting part and da 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 da. And I'll be honest, like I have really no interest in teaching my techniques of art. None at all. I kind of think that if you're an artist, do your thing. And if you want to learn how to sell your art, I can help you with that.
Okay, so let me pitch it this way. What canvas size sells the best, Adam?
For me, it's traditionally been smaller ones.
And give some info on why small. Because I'm saying that it's smart. If you have art and you feel like, I would really like to move it, I'm saying put it on canvas. Now I'm asking Adam, what size should they put it on? Go too big, not going to be able to ship, right?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like
harder to ship. Let's be real. It's harder to ship if it's.
It is harder to ship, and you'll also probably have more money in the materials. I mean, big canvases are more expensive. They take more time usually. Germ rips out a canvas in a day. I can't do that. My big canvases take months or weeks, and so like I'm not. When it comes to that, I can't do art like Germ. I can't rip out a canvas in a day in a big canvas, and you know.
If you want, I can say why.
So, but here's the thing. For me, honestly, what got my art career going was 12 by 12s and under.
There you go. See, that's awesome.
But
good advice.
But
ships.
I wish I had spent a lot more time developing myself for big art. Because 12 by 12s and 6 by 6s, you can't charge a lot of money for them.
Okay.
So long term, I kind of pigeonholed myself and my clients who were buying $75, $150 paintings. I wish I had spent more time earlier in my career doing bigger art.
Now, my advice is a 24-inch range. You can go to 18 by 24, 24 by 24, 20 by 20, but 24 is usually the best. Would that have sufficed? Or are you saying you would have?
I wish I would have made like 4x4 foot ones and 8-foot ones or way earlier.
I find that 24 by 24 is a great. Yes, it's not huge, but it still is big enough to do the things that you would have done on a 4-footer.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean. So you can practice.
What Jerm is talking about is also the shipping factor. Like once you get over 30 by 30 inches, you can't really ship with, at least not with Canada Post.
Well, bro, you're trying to sell this piece, I'm talking in a scenario where you're trying to sell.
I don't know about USA shipping. How big is the maximum size you can ship from USA or from Europe or whatever else?
But let's dream here. Let's dream.
But
let's say Japan wants to buy.
Canada, the biggest I can ship Canada Post is 30 by 30. After that, I have to go UPS or FedEx or something like that, and they're a lot more expensive, and they won't insure your art unless you pay them to pack it, and they'll charge you a fortune to pack your art. So it costs a lot to ship big art. On the other side of the coin, people should be paying a lot of money for big art, and paying an extra $300 to ship something that they're just dropping $2 or $3 or $5 or $10,000 on shouldn't be a big concern to people. So that's part of the reason I wish I had been making bigger art earlier, is because I would have attracted the clients that would have paid for that big art and had that big budget earlier. Now I'm starting to make big art, and I'm starting to attract those clients that have the big budget and have the big space to display it and you know, like
we talked about this with Chris, didn't we? Like there's a good reason why you would do a big piece. Just, you know, it's a flex to show off that you can do this kind of thing, but you don't want to keep doing them.
It depends. I don't agree with that. I think long term you do want to.
Oh no, I don't mean like that. I mean like at the beginning, focus more on a 24 by 24 type size. Have maybe 3 big ones. So if you have a show, forget 3 next to each other, you're blowing people away. But the ones that are moving, the ones that are actually paying for the next 3 big ones, are the 24 by 24s.
Or the 12 by 12s or whatever.
Yeah, those are kind of at the beginning of your career are the lifeblood. They're the.
And it's mainly because they're affordable.
It's the thing that's proof of concept that makes these sellable later.
It's mainly like, I don't mean that I wish I didn't do any small paintings. Like doing my small paintings built my career, because some of my small paintings were the first ones I used for my prints and things like that.
You're saying you would have took a gamble with time and money, and you would have made a big one.
Yeah, I think I should have been making bigger art more consistently over my career. Like even just always having one big one on the go on the side, and even if it takes 6 months and you only do 2 big ones a year or 3 big ones a year between all your small ones going, I wish I had built a bigger inventory of big art. I wish I had built more of a reputation for myself as an artist who creates big art earlier in my career. Because let's face it, when you're an artist, your career is gonna go in waves, largely that have to do with things that are out of your control. With the gallery that represents you going out of business, with Facebook changing their algorithms, with YouTube not letting you go live. The style for me isn't relevant, because for me the thing about style is building a style that you get known for.
No, what I'm saying is,
for 50 years people are gonna love it.
What I'm saying is that like maybe one day. In mandalas become like the hottest thing, the hot, like Louis Vuitton's using it, it's so hot right now, and then like you'll have a big boom, but it's a bubble, right? It's if this would have happened, it's the mandala bubble, and after 10 years it would go back to its normal level.
See, I don't believe in that, because I think after 10 years you're gonna have a reputation for yourself as an artist that is gonna surpass the trends of decor and design. If you're an artist that's like dedicated, you'll persevere. Yes. It won't matter, because you'll have by the time
German minimalism could be in, and you having to do that, and that's good for you.
10 years goes by, you should have a brand already as an artist where people are hiring you because they love your style, whatever that style is. It shouldn't be relevant what's going on in the world of as far as what's trendy. If you're following trends, your art's all going to end up in the garbage within 1 generation after you die.
I feel that. And you're speaking to a guy who's trying to mastercraft trend.
You need to be the trend.
Yeah, I guess. But there's a way, like, is meme culture a trend, or is it the new future way to communicate?
I don't know.
I think it's the new future way to communicate.
Like, I think if you continue with it as a long-term thing, it won't matter. because you'll be known for that, and it won't matter what culture becomes or what, because people will be interested in that thing, that path you took.
Mm-hmm.
They won't care about everything else in the world. They won't. Some people might relate your art to the rest of the world, art critics and art historians, but people who just like your art and just like the story of Germ D and like following you and watching our podcasts and relate to you on whatever level they relate to you, like, that's what's going to get your art in their collections to begin with. And then, like, after we're gone, like, hopefully our own personal legacy of who we were while we were alive will make our art worth keeping and worth, remembering, yeah, and worth sharing with people for many years. I know none of my art's going to last 10,000 years. It's very unlikely. So, like, enjoy it while it's here. And that's kind of what I say to people who criticize me about, like, oh, your mandalas, you're selling them and they should be swept away, and the whole point of a mandala is impermanence and to represent non-attachment and things like that. And, like, okay, that's why I sell them. That's why I let them go. That's why I let them go out into the world, and I'm not attached to them. And people, even Chris Dyer, like, we had a conversation, and I don't remember if it was on camera or not, but last Sunday when we were at Chris's, he doesn't want to sell a lot of his art.
But that's apparent in the fact that he doesn't sell as many as you.
And for me, like, I'm not attached to most of my paintings. There's this one here that I'm pretty attached to, The Passion and Faith. I spent 520 hours on it, and it's a really important piece for my career because I did it when I reached 5,000 hours I spent painting. And one of my goals as a mandala artist is to consider myself a master mandala painter only by the fact that I spent 10,000 hours painting mandalas, just based on the idea that it takes 10,000 hours to master something. I'm not saying I'm a master and now you bow at my feet or anything like that. It's just like a personal challenge to reach that 10,000 hours.
Of course, you should always have long-term goals like that.
So right now I'm like at around 9,000 hours. So when I reach that 10,000 hours, I'd like to paint a mandala on, like, a canvas maybe this size, or maybe like a 6 by 6 feet or something, with, like, all my passion and skill. That's one of the reasons I'm doing the patron thing, the supporting patron thing, is because when I get to that point, I want to dedicate almost a whole year to making that painting. And during that year, when I'm dedicated to making that painting, I'm going to have income coming in to support the time that it's going to take to make that. So I'm hoping, if you want to see that painting materialize and become something real, that you consider becoming a supporting patron to help that make that a reality. And whoever's my next supporting patron is going to get this hand-painted sticker signed there at the bottom, 2019. It's a one-of-a-kind original piece of art, and whoever's my next supporting patron is going to get this to whatever other perks, and in addition to being entered into the draw for a custom 10 by.
I want to point out that it's on a shipping label, which is just such an important thing for the business of an artist. Because nowadays with the internet, you're constantly shipping, and this is a shipping label that we all see in Canada to the United States to cross the border and declare how much is in there, and that's what he's painted on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't know what that medium was that he's painting on, it's something very important to the business of an artist.
I never really told that part of the story.
And that's why it's the gift that you're giving to the Patreon people, that, like, it's a very important part.
And another reason I do these on stickers is because they're literally stickers. I mean, you can peel this off and stick it to something if you want. You could stick it to, like, a canvas board and then put it in a frame, or you could just glue it like this straight.
Arguably nicer than the 1,000 stickers that I got. Definitely.
Arguably, I don't think there's any argument. A one-of-a-kind hand-painted sticker versus 1,000 that you got from the printing company. Come on.
So definitely mine's nicer, but his is more valuable. Okay, I hear you.
Nice, you're coming. I like that. Good one.
But
no ego in this room.
I want to ask a question here. Are you going to start the master painting at 10,000 hours, or paint it during the transition as the sun eclipses into masterpieces?
I would like to start it before, but it'll kind of depend on my financial situation at the time.
Okay.
I feel like I can't just put the rest of my business aside and dedicate a year to that unless I have the income to make it possible.
But for the story, I would appreciate it to be like, you've hit 10,000 hours and you started being a master. You know what I mean?
This one, the 5,000 hour one, I started about 200 hours before I hit 5,000 hours because I knew it was going to take me at least 250 hours.
I don't want no amateur brush touching this canvas. It's worthless. It's worthless. Don't make your masterpiece like that either. Come in like every stroke is the new threshold person. Because I really feel that happens in everything I've ever experienced in life. You hit specific thresholds where you start thinking, and it's like 100 monkey effect. There's a day where it just flips. And it's like way better.
No, that definitely happens. Like sometimes in my career, like some information I'll get, or I'll meet somebody, and
it's a mindset change.
Have an opportunity that I didn't have before, and all of a sudden, like you literally, it's like a mindset change. A light bulb goes off, and like you think about things differently. And I hope that our podcast help some of you have those moments. I hope that like some of the things we talk about make a light go off in your head and be like, oh yeah, that's so simple and so logical that I should be doing that. Because I'll be honest, I come across honestly too many artists that are in this magical world where they believe if you build it, they will come, and that's not how the art business works.
I mean, it's a factor. Definitely build something, because then when are they coming to?
No, but like when I'm talking about just their art. They focus on making this amazing art, and then they don't even share it anywhere, and they expect people to magically be beating down doors to come see this art that they made. And it's like, nobody even knows your fucking art exists, man. Like, yeah, it could be amazing, but if nobody knows it exists, like, it's on you. It's your fault. If nobody knows your art exists, it's your fault. Nobody else's.
No, it's true that. We can't blame YouTube and Facebook anymore here. You have to get yourself a website and an email list.
Or, get Facebook, get YouTube, get Instagram, get Mine, Steemit, MeWe, Pinterest, LinkedIn, get them all.
Oh, so I want to bring this up. We're really back on this YouTube train, right? And I really want to push you to, we're going to do a video this Friday, live video probably recorded video on your on your YouTube of music, live performance, live concert this Friday. So, I think that's a great thing to bring up is using your hobbies as a way to advertise. You're really good at guitar. You check out the other Artytime podcast. The link will be in the description for the other ones. Check out his channel. There's music, and you'll be able to see how talented he is. And that could be used to sell more art. How? It could be the cover of his album.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I already have a business with one of my passions as an artist. I don't want to mix my other passion that's a hobby with my business because I like doing that as a hobby, and I don't want to feel the pressure of I have to make a new video today because there's people out there waiting for my new video, and I don't want to go on tour as a musician. I don't want...
Why are you letting these fears stop you?
They're not fears. They're focuses. I'm focused on my art career. I'm not focused on my music career. So...
that doesn't make any sense.
As far as using my music as a marketing thing here and there, 100%. I love to make music. I love to share it with everybody. But I don't ever want to get it to a point where I need to do that.
Careful what you wish for, I guess. Because you could post it, and then if people want more, you could be like, yeah, but you know what? I like painting paintings. Because you know who does that? This guy. People want clothes and stuff. Yeah, but you know what? If I keep doing that, then I have to make clothes all my life. People want tattoos? Yeah, but if I have to do that, I have to do tattoos my whole life. And what I like is paint on goddamn canvas. So focus on the thing that you love doing, because that begets more of the same thing. So, I don't know, I wouldn't use the tone that you had of like, oh, man, they're going to ask me to go fucking on tour. I'd just be like, nah, buy my painting, bitch.
No, I mean, well, like, from a musician's point of view in 2019, that's how you make money. You go on tour.
Ooh, some of them... I mean, honestly, some of them, you even had a Gary Vee thing playing the other day where the guy lost money. He was going on tour and coming out in the red. And then the IRS was after him. So the guy wasn't a good businessman. People would be like, oh yeah, that table and folding chairs, that's $3,000. And you'd be like, I have money bag, so no problem. I saw that there's a lot of money in this bank account. And at the end, everyone bled him dry because he wasn't a haggler, he wasn't smart. It was his first time.
Oh, he probably wasn't handling his own business. He probably had a manager that did that. But like, look, this is kind of irrelevant. Like, my point is, like, I love my music, I love doing it, but it's not something that's going to become regular and like on a schedule. And that because I tried that for a year. For a year on Facebook, I put my Sunday jams every week. and it started stressing me the fuck out.
Really?
It started stressing me the fuck out. If I didn't have a jam ready on Sunday, I'd be stressing. I'd be like, oh man, I gotta get this jam done. I'd record 3 of them. I wouldn't be in the mood because I'd feel pressure about having to do it, and it wouldn't just flow. And then I'd end up with these shitty jams, and I'd have to record 5 of them, and I wasn't painting, and I wasn't posting about my art, and like it just became stressful. It didn't become fun anymore. It wasn't a hobby. It was a business, and it was a failing business because it wasn't going the way I wanted. So like it just like I stopped doing that with all that pressure, and now I do my jams when I feel like it, when I want to, and if you enjoy them, they'll be there. If you like, I hope you do when I put them up, but it's not something that I'm gonna focus on.
I feel you.
And that's why.
If it's not your highest passion, it can't be the thing that you have to do regularly.
No, exactly.
Your highest passion is the thing you do regularly.
Yeah, it's my
fun.
focus. You know, maybe when I have my Patreon income or my supporting patron income that's paying my bills, maybe then I can focus on it a little more and do a jam every Sunday or every Friday and let people tune in live and hey, I'm having fun here. But if it's taking away time and it's stressing me out over something that's not helping me relieve the stress of paying my bills, I can't focus on it. That's part of my business.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I hear what you're saying too. I love to make music. I love to put it out there when I put it out there, when I'm in the mood and I'm vibing and I feel like it and it doesn't feel like work to record it and upload it and da-da-da-da-da.
Now this goes back to long-term thinking. What is the thing that you want to do long-term? What's the thing that's going to pay your bills long-term? Because if you want to be changing tires, let me tell you something. People have done that. Anything you want. Making bigger tits. People have done that. They make their whole life about cutting it and putting it in and stuffing it big. Anything you want, you can make your life about it. So just careful what you wish for and really think about long term. Mm-hmm. What do you want long term? Costa Rica.
I want to live in Costa Rica. I want to have Tazam, the Temple of Sacred Mandalas, and I basically want to have a little van by the beach that like drives people from the tourist beach area up and back and forth from.
What's the main revenue that starts the Cosm?
Well, my art career and
selling the canvases
and supporting patrons.
Who help you make
my whole business. It's a long-term thing. It's probably going to take me 10 or 15 years before I can even buy a piece of land to even start to think of building.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like what in this long-term vision. $200,000 USD enters your bank account because of in your Excel sheet in taxes
because of long-term smart planning.
That's what you're writing to the tax man. 200,000 came in because of long-term.
It's not going to be 200,000 that's going to come in. It's going to slowly grow over time, and that's going to be due to long-term smart planning.
It's so whack right now. Every year you do your accounting on revenue. I'm saying a large sum of your revenue, 60% or more, comes in through, and if you long-term plan this, then you know what is your high priority. He's supposed to say paintings.
It's not going
to. I got to answer his own question. Now you be quiet and I'm going to say it. It's paintings.
That's not.
And if you want paintings to be your large sum of income every year and to be the large breadwinner for you, then you need to paint more than you do the other things every day. One day is a microcosm of a year, of a month, of a decade. So if you spend 60% of your day thinking about paintings and painting, then 60% of your revenue will be paintings or whatever you choose.
See, I don't know. I hear what you're saying.
If you're marketing the painting, you're still working on the 60% of
long term. My business isn't going to come mostly from painting. It's going to come from.
Okay, well that's why I asked.
I want to build a place where people come to see my art and to be part of a community, and where people, pay for that. Just like you have to pay an entry fee to get into your favorite bar.
But I feel that's how it sustains itself.
That's
how you got the money to build it is a different story.
It's 15 years of saving a little bit every.
Okay, that's your long-term
That's
goal.
the long-term plan.
Okay.
It's not, bang, I'm going to sell a $200,000 painting and woohoo, now I can do Tazam. That's unreasonable for me to believe in that.
No, you sell $200,000 worth of paintings a year.
Maybe, but like, look, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet where I'm selling 200,000.
Having that long-term vision is what manifests it. Is my major point. And if you argue that, then sit back and watch.
Well, I have the vision of what I'm going to build and a basic plan of how I'm going to get there. Is it going to happen overnight? No, it's going to take 10 or 15 years. Of course. And the plan is going to modify and change and evolve over those 10 or 15 years. So, like, I'm not.
But at least you know what
answer that question today is impossible. Put it that way.
It should never be impossible. Don't be scared to dream. Say whatever you want, and you can change it. It's not fixed in stone. Just say like, oh man, like honestly, it could be like.
Well, I did answer it. I said
the diamond
long-term planning
mandalas.
over 15 years.
Yeah, but I definitely think that when you do long-term planning, know that it's not written in stone, but say it confidently like it is.
Mhm.
That's the true thing that manifests things. Because when other people hear it, they want to hear that you're striking for something, you're aiming for something. Because if you're not, if it's just like, oh, I don't know, I'm just going with the flow. Okay, you're going with the flow.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not putting money behind that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? As an investor, I guys go with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, just based on my previous business, like my main income is from custom art. It's not from selling my paintings that I create for other people. It's not from selling my merch. It's from creating custom art. And the reason for that is because that's something that I love doing. Because when I hired Chris Dyer to make custom art for me, I felt like I was sort of being the artist. And I want to give that opportunity for other people who don't feel like they're artistic and who don't feel like they can, manifest the actual object, but who have creative ideas and want to put them out into the world and have that object manifest.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's what my mandalas, that's what makes me the most of my income. I love doing that. Long term, I don't know if that's a viable way for me to make that income that I'll need for building TOSM. Ideally, I would really like to have my supporting patron income over 10, 15 years be able to support that vision and build that vision. And if you become a supporting patron, like you're really building the foundation of that.
I mean, we can cut it. We can cut our podcast right here and say, check it out on the website. We started with that. Check it out. Check out Patreon too at the same time, and get a gauge of would you rather have it on your website? Get a feel for it. Okay, like here's a sign up thing. I think it's 3 steps. I think that's pretty cool. On Patreon, bro, if you don't give them the direct link, how are they even finding you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's so like, think about it from the other person's perspective when they come in.
It's not
gonna
even
be
about,
like.
what I
it's
would
on
recommend
Patreon.
is to think about it from your own branding long term. If you're on Patreon, if you're building it on Patreon,
You're building Patreon.
you're building Patreon's brand, and they can change their rules at any time so that all this money that you've spent years building up coming in, they can say, oh, you broke our community standards because of whatever reason, and now,
Well, let's be
now
real.
they can.
They're holding the bag of money. They could literally be like, you know what? Now you know what the cut is? 25% to us. What are you going to say? You're going to say, no, you can't say anything. They're just going to fucking give you your cut and take their cut. And trust me, their cut's going to change.
If you build
It's
it on your
change.
own website, you still have to share the link to your own website, but then you're sharing the link to your own website.
Wait, is that good?
And people can sign up to your email list.
Oh, is that good too?
Yes, and people can visit my store, or they can go
That-
read my
That sounds
blog.
like it could be good.
Once they're on my website, they're on my website, and they're not being redirected to the other patrons or the other Etsy stores or the other, whatever. They're on my website. So, like, long-term branding-wise, that's what works for me. Maybe I only get 150 visits to my website a week now versus the 5,000 I used to get before. But out of those 150 people that visit my website every week, I get some sales, and I get people to join my email list, and I get people that are signing up to become a supporting patron. And I imagine some of those people bookmark that website and then come back to it periodically when I write a new blog post or when we post these. I have a page on my website where I post these podcasts. So, if ever, whatever YouTube does, I can always have that page on my website where we post these podcasts. And even if they're not on YouTube, I can still upload the video directly to my website so that it'll be on my website, whether YouTube lets me or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something to think about long term.
I mean, I've had issues with YouTube since like 2010 started with them, and to this day we use it because it's a good word that other people understand. It's on the YouTube, and people are like, oh yes, the YouTube.
Like one thing that we're probably gonna.
But Mega is better. Okay, general audience, Mega is better.
What's Mega? I never even heard.
Mega is the original. The guy went to jail and everything. He just doesn't care. He's refusing to sell, and you can do whatever you want. He's not doing anything wrong. If you
I've never heard of Mega. What's
Mega Upload. You remember Mega Upload?
Never heard of Mega.
Okay, well,
Upload.
Mega Upload was a way to watch videos.
Does it still exist?
Yes, it's called Mega now. It used to be called
So
Mega
is it
Upload.
Mega.com?
Mega.nz, but just type in Mega Upload, you'll get it on Google right away. It's they might crush it a bit, but it's Mega.nz. It has videos. It's like YouTube but without the censorship, and it has all the movies. Like it has movies.
Can
It's
you monetize on it?
No, it's not about that. It's about I'm a big proponent of mashup culture. A lot of our culture has always been taking the past and re-engineering it for the future. And in the last 100 years, they're trying to stop evolution. They're trying to say, oh, you can't take that guy's thing and let that guy just suck at it when it could be modded and made for the future. So music should be matched up and not have copyright laws on it. In my philosophy, nothing should. Even my art. If you want to take it and make it better, go right ahead. You're just going to inspire me.
Copyright laws aren't about taking it and making it better. They're about literally photocopying it and selling it as theirs.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a photocopy and not original, if you start doing originals, I
Like
can
if
still
like
spin that as a
if
positive story for me.
if I record an album and you copy it and put your name and your cover art on it.
That's plagiarism though.
No, but that's what copyright exists for.
Oh no, I feel like copyright is more like I take your album. This is the dirtiest end of it. I take the Adam Nowhere Adam and I start selling it. I start selling it, and he's also selling it. He's like, hey, that's my thing that you're selling.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's kind of a good look. Right? Because someone's listening to your music. And that guy's gain is cut. Yes, he's not giving you your cut. He's a dick.
Yeah,
but he needs a cut to be a salesman.
That's something cool that we could talk about because Chris talked about it when I was at his business workshop.
What?
And is art theft. Like people putting watermarks on their art on the internet. That's a stupid idea. First of all, I'll never buy art from an artist that watermarks their art. I hate looking at it. I won't even go into their album.
You mean just even the images?
Yeah. If their
hate it
images
too.
on social media have a watermark, first of all, if you're not like a big time artist selling tons of art,
Calm down.
calm the fuck down.
Because they're
Nobody's
jumping.
stealing your art.
They're stealing Kaz and Jeff Koons. They're stealing those guys because they know there's a market.
Even if they steal your art, they are Alibaba and Chinese manufacturers that are looking for a specific type of design and they'll sell it and they're not competing with you. Like Chris is the one that brought this to my attention. I never really worried about people stealing my art, but it came up in his workshop. And the point is, like, if somebody steals, say you make this image of Santa Claus, and some company in China starts making Christmas cards with your Santa Claus painting on it.
Sick.
So,
Amazing.
okay, you can freak the fuck out and for the rest of your life put watermarks that say, John Smith art across it, and now nobody can enjoy your art.
Let me butt in. Or they're going to pay someone 12 cents an hour to take that, put it in the background layer, drop the opacity, and trace your bitch, and it won't even matter if you have a watermark.
Exactly.
They'll still steal it.
and the trick is, okay, make another one. Make a new painting they haven't stolen yet.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be an artist for 30, 40, 50 years, like, just make more art. It won't matter. There will be art they haven't stolen yet. There'll be art they'll never steal. So, like, worrying about art theft and putting watermarks all over your art, and, this person I know had their art stolen and put on fucking greeting cards and now
that's a place of scarcity. You're coming from a place of scarcity, you're going to come up with less ideas in that vibration. You're going to be less artistic and creative when you're scared.
And it should have nothing to do with you anyway, because when the Alibaba people steal your art, they don't write John Smith Santa Claus design. They just write Santa Claus greeting card. And, like, unless somebody is looking for you, like, people, like, if you're an artist and getting your name out there, people should be looking for John Smith art, not Santa Claus greeting card.
I promise you I will have a collection of proper Chinese bootlegs of my things. Like, yeah, people bootleg my things, but proper, they ran a run of like 200, 1,000, and I need it. So if you guys ever see some, buy it, because you can flip it on me for a lot of dough. I need to have a wall of it, of like the fake.
See, I mean, I know that I make enough art that if somebody steals one of my designs to use on their products, like, it's probably not worth my time to worry about it. It's not worth my time to even write them a letter. Like, maybe I'll write them a cease and desist letter, which is super simple. You can Google a cease and desist letter, and it basically just says, like, hey, if you don't stop using my designs, I will sue you. And most people, when they get one of those, they take it down.
Oh my God, a letter?
Yeah. They don't want to go
Words?
through the problem of potentially having to deal with that. So a lot of times that'll work, and if it doesn't work, like, don't care. If they're the type of business that won't care if you send them a cease and desist letter, then they're probably in another country that won't care if you sue them either.
Man, they're not gonna be at that court date.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's going to be no court date, because to sue somebody who's in China is going to cost you $200,000 in legal fees.
But hold on, there is like a thing that's happening now where some people who are blatantly taking a Fox character or whatever, big Mickey Mouse or something like that. There are people that got their Instagrams like pulled and deleted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Like,
that's why you'll never, like, other than the commission, other than the collaboration I did with Jeremy, you'll probably never see Mickey Mouse or Bart or any mashup of any of those characters.
I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there is a potential for a world where copyright is so strict that if you think that you're going to make a creation and not even sell it, but just advertise your own creativity using Mickey Mouse or some copyrighted character, that it'll be cut, just like a nude girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just like community policy says that you can't fucking do that.
Yeah, and it's probably coming soon.
And that's why we gotta fight. We gotta bootleg.
AI algorithms can detect the Mickey Mouse ears, and they see Mickey Mouse ears, and it's not from Disney's fucking channel. Gone.
Bro, if that ever happens, though, war in the streets.
No, it won't be war in the streets.
Not calling it bootleg army. War in the streets.
No
if they start claiming specific shapes on the symbols that go into the eyeballs, that
it won't
talk
be
to our
claiming.
minds,
it'll be AI that just detects it, just like they detect nipples.
we're not just talking code. You feel me?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I mean unfortunately, that's the way social media makes money, is by taking out unpaid content and replacing it with paid content. So unless you're paying for your content to be seen, they're not going to let your content be seen very much. And that's the way that their businesses operate. I personally believe that there's a big shift coming in social media where it'll be more like a cable company, where you subscribe to the platform by a monthly fee, and then you see all the content that you subscribe to.
Like Netflix.
Sort of like Netflix. I don't know which social media it'll be. I don't know which one's going to come up with that business model, but for me personally, I would way rather pay $10 a month or $8 a month to have a social media where I see my friends, I see the artists I like, I get to see the musicians I like.
But what if then they want to make more money and they start doing the same thing anyways?
Well, then there will be the next one that doesn't start advertising and is happy making $8 billion a year by charging $1 billion people $8 a month.
We're still in the infancy of the internet. We're still looking for these things, so it's not fixed in stone. People have seen Facebook for 10 years. I think maybe it's been 10 years.
I think more.
Really? Wow, that's the longest we've ever seen a website run for. Personally,
social media one. Anyway.
Any of them. Even Stick Dev didn't last 10 years.
Isn't AOL.com still active?
Really?
And Yahoo still active?
He's got a Hotmail.
Yeah, I have a Hotmail address.
Alright? That's how old school he is. I can't get into mine. It's SomeKid99, and they tell me that it's not SomeKid99. Right? No, it is, with an underscore. Don't forget these things.
I don't know. I've had my Hotmail account since I was like 16 or something. So
if you real and you were on the internet post 99, you have a Hotmail.
Mm-hmm. For an AOL.
And you know what? You can't be fooled by no
Outlook.
And
you know your Outlook email is a Hotmail.
Oh, I don't use Outlook. I use Gmail now.
I have my business is all Gmail, but my personal is still my Hotmail because I've had it for 20 plus years. I'm not going to change my personal email now unless they force me to. But yeah, so like this whole episode was pretty much about thinking long term and planning ahead for things that are going to change, because things are going to change. Whatever you're experiencing right now in your art career and your art business and how you're marketing it and how you're reaching people, that's all going to change. And it's going to change. It's constantly going to change and be evolving. So you're going to have to constantly change and be evolving the way that you're sharing your work with the world and reaching people. The main takeaway I hope that you guys get from this is that it's really, really, really important long term to have your own home base. Because when you have your own home base, it's a lot less likely that any changes on platforms will dramatically affect you overnight.
And that's why back in 1999, we were smart enough to foresee a future where Hotmail would still be used, and we made Hotmail accounts. Mm-hmm. And we are thankful to this day for our Hotmail accounts.
Yeah, man, my Hotmail account is how I started everything. Eventually, I created my own Adam at nexusvisions.com. So you can reach me there.
My first PayPal account was linked to that Hotmail. When I couldn't get in.
My PayPal still is linked to that.
There's money in that PayPal. PayPal won't let me have it. It's so funny. Like, no, and they took my money. So, anyways, my new PayPal is reachable by hitting me up in the DM, and I'll sell you anything under the sun that I make, and it's good quality, not made in China. Nothing against Chinese manufacturers. You're great people, but just I like not having to ship and pay duties on things.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Artytime, Artytime, excellent.
All right, good episode. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time. Peace.
I don't even know how to stop this thing.